In today's video, I'm going to be addressing a major concern for international students who are interested in working after they have completed their studies in the United Kingdom. If this interests you or this is something you'd like to know more, definitely keep watching. Before I proceed into today's video, I have a number of videos that I'd like to recommend to you. One talks about how you can switch your visa from the student visa to the worker's visa. I have another video that also talks about if you actually do need to pursue a master's degree. I have another video that also talks about how graduate programs are generally assessed. These are all videos that I highly recommend and you can check them on my channel. I also have lots of interesting updates coming up on visas and immigrations. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell so you're notified every time a new video drops. Leave a comment because I always like to interact with comments and like to address other questions that you may have. And also like this video, leave a thumbs up because it helps the algorithm of the YouTube and it also helps you recommend it for other viewers who may benefit. When can you start a full-time work when you're done with your studies? The first thing you need to know is, as an international student in the United Kingdom, you cannot work fully during term time. What does term time mean? You cannot work while your school is in session running its course ordinarily. So this means that while your school is in session, first semester, second semester running, you cannot work. Full time means any period of work that exceeds 20 hours. So as an international student, you cannot work exceeding 20 hours while your school is in session. The first semester break, as an international student, when your school is no longer in session, you can work exceeding 20 hours. You can work for 40 hours, you can work for 50 hours, any number of hours that is available to you or that you can work for within that period. However, because of the peculiarities of some people's courses and the peculiarities of some people's universities, there are lots of different circumstances that may apply. For some people, they are not even able to work during the break because they have other programs that runs from school, so they are not able to work full time. It could also be a situation where you're writing your dissertation. So you've completed your first semester as an international student, you completed your second semester as an international student, and this is in the case for master students. So PhD students is a totally different ball game because they are running their program all through their years. So in a situation where you've completed your first semester, you've completed your second semester, and now there's a long period of time in between your second semester and the completion of your course. Usually this period is dedicated to dissertation, is dedicated to project work, is dedicated to further research work, depending on the nature of your master's program. The big question is, can I work during this period? You cannot work during your dissertation period. Your dissertation period is also seen as a term time. So this means that when you're writing your dissertation, working on your dissertation, working on your project, working on your research work, whatever your case may be, you're not expected to do a full-time work. This means you can't work exceeding 20 hours. What is the implication of working exceeding 20 hours? It means that you have broken the immigration rule. What is the implication of breaking the immigration rule? It means that your chances of getting a visa to extend your stay in the United Kingdom after you have completed your studies may be affected. So you don't want to work exceeding the number of hours and get into troubles. I know there are a lot of people that do a lot of illegal things and people have a way of working around it, but the chances are you're already getting towards the tail end of your program. You really don't want to jeopardize your chances. Some other questions that people also tend to ask is, after I have submitted my dissertation, can I then start a full-time work? That is the whole essence of this video, to help you understand when you can actually start a proper full-time work when you have completed your studies. So while you can work full-time during any of these periods, that's during your first semester break, your second semester break, or after you have completed your dissertation and submitted it and the date on your CAS has expired. So I'm going to include a link in the description. The link is called the UK CSIR, refers to the UK Council for International Student Affairs. This site contains a lot of information about what you need to know about when you can start full-time work. Full-time work refers to, in this context, a permanent position or a permanent role. So even while you can work during your first semester break and your second semester break, you can't take on you can't take on a full-time role. So what does this mean? It means that even after you have completed your dissertation and you are in that process in between extending your stay in the UK via any of the routes which I would be talking about in another video, so please watch out for that video, you cannot take on a full-time role. You can't. I feel like I'm not saying it well. You cannot take on a full-time role. A full-time role means a permanent position. However, this does not impede your chances of taking up a job that offers you a contract or a temporary employment. Before you can start work as an international student in the UK, number one, you must have completed your dissertation, and two, your course end date on your CAS must have passed. What does this mean? It means that if your course end date on your CAS is 30th of September and you've submitted your dissertation on the 8th of August, you cannot start full-time work until 30th of September has passed, or until the 30th of September. Does this make sense? Now, when can you now actually start this work? When you can start the work depends on the routes that you're taking. So there are two different options that are available. One for those who are embarking on the skilled workers route, and two for those who are embarking on the graduate route. Remember, this video is for international students who are currently on a master's program in the UK and are seeking to extend their stay and start a full-time role. If you're going on the skilled workers route, you can commence your job working in a permanent position once you have made in your application. And in this particular situation, you can even proceed to start that work up to 3 months before your course end date. So if you've found a sponsored organization or an organization that is willing to sponsor your skilled workers visa, you can start your work up to 3 months before your course end date and after you have put in your application. What does this mean? It means that you can start work earlier than September, but it cannot be earlier than September, August, July. It can't be earlier than July. Does this make sense? For the graduate route, please listen and listen carefully. You can start a full-time role after you have made your application while you are waiting the outcome of your decision. What does this look like? It looks like if you put in your application on the 12th of September, for instance, you can start work a full-time role after the 12th of September. However, it means before you apply for the graduate route, you cannot take up a full-time role. A full-time role, remember, refers to a permanent position. You may, however, take up a contract job that has an end date in sight. An end date means you are given the contract employment to work for 2 years, you're given the contract employment to work for 1 year, you're given the contract employment to work for 6 months, or whatever the duration may be. You can't start a work that gives you the room to work for an endless date without the outcome of your graduate route. For the graduate route, you need to have, number one, submitted your dissertation. I'm saying this again for emphasis, and the date on your CAS must have passed, because you're going to be required to give a letter from your sponsored organization, which at this present moment is your university. And so your university needs to be able to certify that you have completed your course and the course end date on your CAS has also passed. So it means that until these two major events take place, you're not able to apply for your graduate route. Until and unless you're able to apply for your graduate route, you cannot take up a full-time permanent role. So this means that if you get any employment offer between now and then, you need to ensure that they put the accurate date on your documents, because if they do not put the accurate date, this could lead into a lot of troubles that you were not planning for. The UK immigration visa was also not planning for. I hope with these few points, I've been able to address your many concerns of when you can take up a permanent role after you have completed your studies. I have another video that talks of all the routes that are available for you as an international student to stay back in the UK after you have completed your studies. If this is something that you're interested in, click on the subscription button right away so you can be notified every time a new video drops. Leave a comment on any other topic you'd like me to address. Like this video, and yes, subscribe to the channel once again, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.